As a continuation of the week 3 presentations, we will delve more into developing the project proposals. Now that the RFP has been published, contractors have to determine if they're going to respond with a proposal. There are some elements related to relationships and customers that I would like to explore as they relate to the proposals. It's important in the project field to build relationships with clients and to partner with organizations because you never know what the relationship can bring. People tend to do business with individuals that they know. So developing a personal relationship with clients and partnering organizations may bring forth contracting opportunities. There are some elements to developing a relationship with clients or partnering organizations. 1, getting to know staff. That means getting to know them on a personal level. The discussion should be about them. Find out what their hobbies are. Information about their families. Always start dialogue showing a personal interest in the staff's lives. It may also be beneficial to invest in small tokens related to the staff's interests. The interaction with the customer should be frequent, not just when there's funding opportunities. The conversation should also shy away from any funding opportunities that are available. If the conversation is heavily geared towards the funding opportunities, the customer may sense you're trying to solicit information from them. It would behoove you to be a great listener or learner. Using your listening skills, you can find out from the customer what their needs are. This will help you determine how you can help their business or organization succeed. Another element is to focus on the customer. Place a great deal of emphasis on satisfying the customer. Honing in on the customer's needs and being responsive will help in building trust. Show the customer that you genuinely care about the well-being of their business or organization. This means displaying ethical behavior because at any point, if the customer perceives your business dealings as being unethical, they will distance themselves from you. Any trust that had been built up to that point will be destroyed. As part of the pre-RFP and marketing functions, we've discussed in a previous slide relationship building. This is going to be important prior to the RFP being published. Frequent contact with customers gives the contractor an upper hand when the RFP is published. Because of the relationship, the contractor has intimate knowledge of the customer's needs, requirements, and expectations. Having this frequent contact with the customer can also be a great opportunity to expose the customer to an organization that you've worked with that may have similar issues that you successfully addressed. Lastly, this will be a great time to compose an unsolicited proposal. Once composed, it can be presented to the customer. If the document is in correct order and appears to address the customer's problem, the organization or the customer may start negotiations with the contractor at that moment to implement the project. If carried out in that fashion, the contractor just eliminated the competitive nature of the RFP process. When trying to decide if you're going to respond to an RFP, there's some things that you must consider. The first is competition. Who are going to be your competitors? What other contractors in the field will be submitting proposals? What is the reputation of my competitors? What previous work have they done? The next consideration is risk. What risks are present that will negatively or could negatively impact the project being successfully completed? We will move on to mission. Is the project consistent with the contractor's mission? Next, extend capabilities. Does the project help extend the contractor's capabilities? Will this lead to a larger customer base or help expand my business? Reputation. Has the contractor completed projects for the customer before? Were the projects completed successfully? Have there been bad experiences with the customer? Have you previously bidded for jobs for that customer? What happened in the bidding process? The second to last consideration is funds. Does the customer have the necessary financial resources in order to proceed with the project? Lastly, we'll look at resources. Are the resources available for us to prepare a proposal? Are the resources available in order for us to carry out the project? Based on the previous slides, you are aware that responding to an RFP is very competitive. Contractors need to prepare a winning proposal so that the customer will select them to complete or implement their project. Through the composition of a proposal, the contractor must convince the client or the customer they are able to do the following: understand the customer's wants, has the ability to carry out the project activities as designed, will provide the greatest value to the customer, the contractor is the best for the job, will capitalize on the experience gained from previous projects that were similar, the work will be professionally done, the results intended will be achieved, the project will be completed timely and within the budget specified, and at the end, the customer will be satisfied. If the customer can ascertain from the proposal that the contractor can do these things, the proposal is a winning proposal. Additionally, each contractor should try to set him or herself apart from the other contractors to obtain a competitive advantage. The preparation of a proposal can take place in many forms. The proposal can be prepared by one individual or multiple individuals, depending on the size of the project. The contents of the proposal typically look the same. They are usually divided by 3 sections: a technical section, the management section, and the cost section. In the technical section, the contractor is trying to persuade the customer that he or she understands their need and can provide the least risky and or beneficial solution. This section includes the following elements: the contractor stating the customer's problem or needs in its own words, the contractor offering some solutions to the problem. In this section, you may see a breakdown of the problem-solving process the contractor used in order to develop the solution posed. Next, the contractor will depict how the solution or approach would benefit the customer and help with the project's success or expected outcomes. The next section is the management section. In this section, the following elements will be present: information from the contractor to persuade the customer that they can do the proposed work and achieve the results desired. To delve further, we will look at the following elements. 1, the description of the major task. The contractor should be defining the task that will be performed in carrying out the project. 2, a list of the deliverables that will be furnished during the project. 3, a project schedule outlining what will be performed and when. The schedule will depict whether the contractor can complete the project timely. The next section is project organization. This section should be descriptive and depict how the work will be accomplished. This is also where the contractor will provide details on who will be performing the work. Next is related experience. This is the section where the contractor will detail any prior experience he or she may have had with projects of this nature. The contractor should outline the project and also any details that would be pertinent to this project. Lastly, the element that will be looked at is equipment and facilities. This section gives the contractor an opportunity to outline any special equipment that he or she may have in her possession or special facilities to show the customer that they are capable of performing the work necessary. The last section in the proposal is the cost section. This section is where the contractor is trying to get the customer to believe that the price that is being proposed is reasonable and realistic based on the project objectives. I will review a few elements from this section as they relate to the costs associated with the project. Some of the elements in this section are labor, materials, equipment, facilities, subcontractors and consultants, and I will go into a little bit more detail in regards to the subcontractors and consultants. This is an area where the contractor may not have expertise, so they go out and find someone who does, or an agency or organization who has the expertise, and they hire them to complete project tasks. Next is travel, documentation, reserve, and profit. Now that the proposal has been composed and submitted, the proposal will be evaluated by the customer. The customer should have developed some criteria in order to evaluate proposals. On this slide, you will see several items that can be used as criteria for evaluating proposals. All of these items have been reviewed in a previous slide, so you should have a full understanding of what is meant by each one of the elements listed here. This criteria is also listed in the text for your review. After the customer is done evaluating the proposals, the customer may afford the contractors an additional opportunity to convince them or to convince the organization that they are the right candidate for the job. This can be done by allowing the contractors to do an oral presentation in front of the customer. Once the contractor is selected, a contract is signed. The contract is an agreement between two parties for work to be completed according to certain specifications and in return for payments. There are two types of contracts. Fixed price contracts. This is where the prices won't change unless it's agreed upon between the contractor and the customer. This is the price for the work that is being proposed by the contractor. This type of contract is most appropriate for projects that are well defined and entail very little risk. Cost reimbursement contracts. This is where the customer agrees to pay the contractor for all the actual costs plus an agreed upon amount for profit. This type of contract is most appropriate for projects that involve risk. Some contractors and customers may include additional terms and conditions in the projects. I will review a few of the additional terms and conditions that may be included. 1, the misrepresentation of costs. In the contract, it states it's illegal for a contractor to misrepresent any hours or costs that have been expended on a project. Next, I will look at termination. Termination is stated in the contract as a condition under which the customer can terminate the contract with the contractor. An example of this would be the non-performance of the contractor. Another term and condition is the terms of payment. This will address exactly how the contractor will be compensated for the work that is being done. Lastly, I will look at bonus and penalty payments. There are times when contracts have clauses that identify bonus or penalty payments. Bonus payments typically occur when the project is completed ahead of schedule. On the flip side, a penalty payment is a reduction in pay if the contractor does not complete the project timely or if the performance requirements are not adhered to. This concludes the presentations for week 3. If you have any questions regarding the material within these presentations, please contact your instructor.